What's going on? We are back. I don't need the headphones today. And we are live. It's been a minute since the last time I did one of these things with you guys. And every time I get a chance to go live with you, it's an exciting time because I get a chance to interact with you guys as the chat, as opposed to say, hey, leave your comments in the comment section below. So, man, this is going to be an interesting one. And today, who are we talking about? We are talking about none other than Tesla. Now, Tesla is suing a Chinese auto part manufacturer. And as you can see here, man, Tesla is a pretty big company, almost 10 million followers on IG. And man, it's interesting because Tesla, everybody knows, just to give you guys some background, just rock with me for a second. Everybody knows Tesla as being associated with Elon Musk and what Elon Musk has done with Tesla. And that is big. And we'll talk about the lawsuit. We'll break down the complaint as we typically do on these Sunday lives. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a history lesson on Tesla as it relates to how they came into being. Again, a lot of people think Elon Musk started Tesla, but he did not start Tesla. It was actually two entrepreneurs started Tesla back in 2003. And Elon Musk, the following year, he became the largest shareholder in Tesla. And then 4 years later, in 2008, they named him the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Tesla. And he never looked back. He's grown Tesla into the behemoth that we all know today, selling electric vehicles. So, yeah, just a little bit of background on Tesla. Again, they're suing a Chinese auto part manufacturer for trademark infringement, amongst many other things. Again, we'll look at the complaint here. And I know it's interesting because typically, man, even though a lot of stuff is made in China, a lot of stuff that you and I buy every day is made in China. When we think about a Chinese company, manufacturing company, we think of knockoffs and we think of somebody trying to rip you off for cheaper quality. And it looks like that's essentially what Tesla is suing this Chinese auto part manufacturer for today. So for none other than essentially trying to knock off some parts of Tesla, and they're hitting them with trademark infringement amongst many other claims that we'll get off into. So let's take a look at the lawsuit here. I see we have someone looking in, so definitely check in, leave your comment, let us know who you are in the comment section. But we're gonna, and this is a good one today, and I'll show you guys why, because I'm a little bit more familiar with these Tesla charging stations than just the average person. So who are we talking about today? We're talking about the plaintiff, Tesla. They just moved out of California. I think they moved their headquarters to Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And they're suing Jetco Auto Parts, doing business at Jetco EV, I should say, at least on Amazon. And that's another thing, man. I was actually trying to look up before this live. I was trying to look up some information on this Jetco EV. And anytime that you type in the name of a company, because a lot of people, this is how they get got buying stuff on Amazon and things like that. Anytime you type in somebody name, a company's name on Google. So for example, say you go to Amazon and you're about to buy a product. You're like, okay, this is a cheap price. Man, it looks cool. Obviously, you're going to read the reviews. But the thing that you should always do as well is go to Google and just type in their name. And if you don't see a website of the company, then that's a bad sign. In 2024, if you're operating a business without a website, then that's how serious you are about business, and the chances that you're going to get got on whatever it is that you're trying to buy is going to go through the roof. So let me know if somebody has a bad experience in the comment section or in the chat with buying something on Amazon or one of these online e-commerce stores without checking to see if the company had a website. And did it work? How did it work out for you? Did you buy a part and it was of inferior quality and they essentially got you and it was like, okay, whatever? Or did you buy it and it worked out? Like I said, I was trying to check out this company. Let me go back to the what's the name. I was trying to check out this company, Jetco EV. They're doing business on Amazon. I was trying to check out the company on just on a Google search, and I couldn't find a website. I couldn't find any information, which that's not a good thing if you ask me. To not have an online presence as it relates to a website. But again, that's just kind of my take on things. So let's get to it here. Plaintiff Tesla, by way of its original complaint against Jetco EV, states and alleges the following. Let's look at the nature of the action. Plaintiff Tesla owns and operates the supercharger network, the largest and most reliable DC fast charging network for electric vehicles in North America. Tesla superchargers make up 3 out of 4 100 kilowatt fast chargers in North America. The charging connector used by superchargers in Tesla vehicles was originally a proprietary connector developed by Tesla. So it seems like anytime you see that word proprietary, that makes me think as an IP attorney, trade secrets. Let's go on here. In November 2022, Tesla announced that it was releasing this connector as a new standard called the North America Charging Standard. Today, the NACS standard is governed by the Society of Automotive Engineers and is formerly known as the NACS SAE. NACS has been adopted in North America by all large automakers, charging equipment manufacturers, and charge station operators, with new vehicles and charging equipment transition by 2026. So, and I have a little bit more, let's see, experience. For those of you who don't know, not only am I an IP attorney, intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from patents to trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, so forth and so on, but I also have a charge station company, LNG Electric. Go look us up on Google. I can promise you that we at least have a website. So what you have here with these charge stations, and this is, as we get off into it, is actually a couple different, essentially charge stations that are out there, or at least kind of plugs for you to plug into your EV. You have the CCS, which is the combined charging standard. And then you have what Tesla is alluding to here in the complaint so far. You have the NACS, which is the North America Charging Standard. Now, the NACS is a pretty much standard, and this how dope and how badass Tesla is, that it's pretty much something that they came up with. Just think about that. They were so dominant and so forthcoming in North America, in the US, Canada, Mexico, so forth and so on, with these electric vehicles, that pretty much automakers, which is what they're saying, had to adopt their standard. So we all know the big three. You got Ford, you got Chrysler, you have what's the other one? Ford, Chrysler, you have GM, but then you have some other automakers here in North America who has adopted and is carrying over to NACS, which means that when these automakers come out with their electric vehicle, they're going to be using the NACS plug, which ultimately is allowed to go towards charging Tesla's network, which again is more money for Tesla. And I want to show you guys, let me stop sharing my screen with the complaint. I'm going to show you guys this website here, which is kind of showing what I'm talking about, because this is important stuff. So Tesla charging network are the upcoming compatible EVs. So as we go down in this article, we're not going to read this article, but it's just pretty much telling how, hey, these other automakers who's been around way before Tesla, the Audis, the BMWs, I'm not sure if Fisker, let me know if you saw a Fisker vehicle. Ford, obviously Ford has the Mach-E, they have the F-150 Lightning. This is the Lightning at a Tesla charging station. You have the Genesis. Those, I mean, I've been seeing a lot more of Genesis lately. You have GM, obviously. I talked about Honda, Hyundai, Jaguar, Kia, Lexus. So, Lucid, all these automakers, essentially what they're saying is they have agreed to use the NACS, which was a proprietary charging port, essentially, that would came to being from Tesla. They have agreed to use that in their electric vehicles, so that, again, when people are buying their electric vehicles, the Ford Lightning, what's all the electric vehicle? I forget the name of it. But when these Beamers, when all these automakers are coming up with their electric vehicles, they're going to use this NACS port, which means that they can, again, we know Tesla dominates the charging network, especially as it relates to superchargers. They're going to be using the Tesla charging network, which again is more money for Tesla. But given the fact that Tesla is so dominant with its charging network, it kind of brings some ease to these people who are buying the Fords, the GMs, the Audis, the Beamers, those electric vehicles. They know that they have reliable chargers that they can use as they're out on the roadway. So again, I told you guys that I actually have a charge station company where we put charge stations at different places, apartment complex, retail plazas, subdivisions, and we typically operate level 2. So you have 3 different. This is important information, but I think it's good to give you guys some background. So you have 3 main level chargers. You have level 1, which again is going to take you pretty much like a day to charge up your vehicle. Then you have level 2, which is it's going to be about 8 to 10 hours. So think, hey, you got an electric vehicle, you need a charge station that is going to be maybe at your apartment complex, something that maybe is at your house that you're going to plug it in overnight and then go to sleep. but when you wake up, you're pretty much going to have a full charge. That's a level 2 charger. Then you have a level 3 charger, which is what they're talking about in this complaint, which is a supercharger, fast charger. Level 3 is known by all these names. That's going to be that they're going to get you that charge in 20 to 30 minutes. So you charge your vehicle. You see them a lot, at least here in Michigan. You see them a lot at Myers, where, again, similar to this one, we see these Tesla boxes. This is a level 3 or a supercharger, where you may see them at the Meijer grocery stores or the malls, where you're going to go into the mall, do your shopping, and about time you come out, your vehicle is going to be charged. So essentially, Tesla dominates the charging network as it relates to these superchargers or these fast chargers or these level 3 charge stations. So this is what this article, this complaint is really kind of talking about, is these superchargers that Tesla is essentially dominating the network on. And what we have here, which again, we'll get off to it in a little bit, this Chinese auto part maker has an adapter where, again, say for example, if you have a CCS, as I told you before, it's 2 main charging ports. You have the NACS, North America Charging Standard, which is essentially came to being by Tesla. And then you have the CCS, which is the combined charging standard. And that's big like overseas in Europe and stuff like that. But to the extent that you have a CCS outlet or a port on your electric vehicle, you pull up to a Tesla charger, you're like, oh, man, I can't even charge up. What they do is they sell these adapters that you can plug into your vehicle so that you can essentially plug in the NACS port or the Tesla charging to charge up your vehicle that originally had a CCS port. So again, much like any other adapters that go, for example, you have an adapter that go from USB to USB-C. This is essentially the same thing. This Chinese auto part company is making an adapter that essentially goes from CCS to NACS so that you can use this Tesla charging station to charge your vehicle. So that's essentially what's going on here. I thought it was big to the fact that Tesla, who's relatively new compared to these legacy automakers, you have Tesla who essentially was so big and badass that they had these other automakers, these legacy automakers, adopt their NACS standard. So that's where we are here. Let's go to 3 here. Defendant Jetco EV promotes, sales, or distributes a so Tesla off the rip in their complaint. They bringing that fire. They're not just saying they're committing trademark infringement or unfair trade practices. Tesla is saying, hey, this defendant Jetco EV, this Chinese knockoff company, they're distributing a dangerous product intended for use on Tesla's supercharger network. And again, when we say, because you're going to hear supercharging network a lot in this complaint, just think a level 3 charger or fast chargers. Those are chargers that's going to charge your electric vehicle in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, as opposed to level 2 that's going to be, for example, overnight. Defendant's dangerous product is sold as an NACS adapter. I just talked about that. Marketed to electric vehicle owners who want to charge their non-Tesla vehicle at Tesla's supercharger network. Again, I just talked about that. Plaintiff has conducted, or Tesla has conducted, an analysis of Jetco EV charging adapter and concluded that defendant's charging adapter poses high safety risks and foreseeably causes catastrophic injury to purchasers of Jetco EV charging adapter, the public at large, and/or causes the property damage to plaintiffs to Tesla supercharger infrastructure. So they're making some serious complaints. They're saying that, hey, this company, if you buy this company adapter and plug it into your Tesla, not only is your vehicle liable to be essentially a damage, the charge station is going to be damaged, and then the property that the charge station on could be damaged. And lastly, and more importantly, you as the human, the user, are at risk. So, Tesla is making some bold claims here, and they may be right here. So Tesla has taken all reasonable actions and efforts to alert defendant to the risk. So, Tesla saying that they're letting this Jetco EV company know that y'all essentially what y'all doing is dangerous. Let's go to the part. We're not going to go to the parties. We'll skip jurisdiction and venue. We're going to get to the juicy stuff, the factual background. Tesla's business history. Tesla was first incorporated, as I told you guys, in 2003 as Tesla Motors. And in 2017, it changed its name to Tesla Inc. Tesla designs, manufactures, and sells electric vehicles and stationary battery energy storage devices, solar panels. So it seems like Tesla do it all, not just electric vehicles and the batteries. It seems like they got some solar panels, solar shingles, and related products and services. In 2008, the company began again. What did we just talk about in 2008? That's the year that Elon Musk became the CEO, the chief executive officer of Tesla. The company began producing his first car model, the Roadster sports car, followed by Model S sedan in 2012, the Model X SUV in 2015, and a Model 3 sedan in 2017, the Model Y crossover in 2020, and the Tesla Semi. I've never seen a Tesla semi truck. I heard of the Cybertruck, which I see a lot of those. Those actually, I would buy a Cybertruck. Hey, let me know in the chat, would you guys get a Cybertruck? I think they look pretty cool. I know a lot of people don't like them. I've never seen a Tesla semi-truck. Let me know if you guys seen a Tesla semi-truck before. Seemed like that came out a couple years ago. I've never seen that, but I've definitely seen a Cybertruck. Those things are all over. In August of 2023, Tesla Model Y electric vehicle made history by becoming the top-selling car globally across 160 plus countries. So they're doing their thing. So let's get off into the trademarks. Y'all know this is really my specialty when we talking about trademarks and IP. Tesla owns all the rights, titles, and interests in the Tesla marks, many of which are included in essentially on the principal registrar of the USPTO. The Tesla marks are well known. I'll probably agree with that. They are all in connection with Tesla electric vehicles, energy storage, solar energy, and autonomous driving. And they give some of these Tesla trademarks here. So we all know the Tesla design mark. And again, you should know this if you've been listening to my channel for any length of time, that you have to let the USPTO know what goods and services, or in other words, what class you're going to be operating in. So it seems like the Tesla design is in some solar panel equipment, wirelessly connected electric battery apparatus, so dealing with the battery. Let's see here, brake calipers. So it seems like they got some stuff on brake calipers, apparatuses for locomotion by land, air, or water. Namely, I'm not sure what that's about. But this is the interesting thing. As I started to get off into it, seemed like they got it protected in a book bag category. Book bags, school bags, backpacks. I thought that was interesting. Belt buckles. Thought that was interesting. Leasing a motor vehicle. That makes sense. They even have it of restaurant services. So I'm not. Hey, let me know if y'all seen a Tesla restaurant. I haven't seen it. Beer. I've definitely never seen a Tesla beer. But a lot of times what you will see is they'll try to register these marks. As you can see here, these last two in restaurant services and beer, those were fairly new, just registered in 2024, or at least filed an application on 2024 and 2023. So maybe it's coming out. They're coming out with some Tesla beers or Tesla restaurants. Who knows? Then getting off into the watermark Tesla, obviously you have it in batteries, wirelessly connected electro battery, and then, we're so forth and so on. Automobiles, financing related to automobiles. They have, the Tesla mark. And then you have the stylized Tesla mark, which I think is pretty cool. And wirelessly connected electric battery apparatuses, as well as anti-skid chains, roof racks, and that makes sense, shock absorbers. So it seems like they have a number of Tesla marks. I think paragraph 17 is interesting. The Tesla marks are distinctive, having no meaning outside of their use by Tesla in its course of business operation and its advertising to distinguish products and services. So people, that's going to go over a lot of you head, but pretty much what they're saying is, and I thought that was an interesting sentence, because we all know that Tesla was named after the electrical engineer, the famous inventor Nikola Tesla, who was running around back with what's your boy Edison name? I'm in Detroit, so you have Detroit Edison. Edison was big here in Detroit. So he was running around and is known for his AC current. We know Edison had the DC current, and Tesla, famous engineer, unfortunately he died broke. Go look at the I watch it every year in January, The Man Who Built America. They have Tesla his story in there. And one of the big reasons why he died broke, because he essentially ripped up his agreement with Westinghouse that would have made him one of the richest guys in the world. And he ripped that up, trying to save the company, and it came back and bit him. He died broke. He actually was killed, essentially he was run over pretty much. But so this is interesting because Tesla, the company, the electric vehicle company, was named after Nikola Tesla when it was founded in 2003. But going back to what they're saying is Tesla has no other meaning. So when you file a trademark, and this is going to be some good information as it relates to some IP and trademarking, when you file a trademark, you have a number of different buckets that your trademark or your mark will fall under. You have a generic mark, which is, think aspirin, and this is generic to the product. So when somebody talking about headache medicine, they don't give the exact name. They don't say, give me a Tylenol or give me an Aleve. A lot of times they just say, give me some aspirin. So aspirin is a generic mark, and and since it's a generic mark, you cannot trademark generic marks. If you try to trademark a generic mark, the USPTO is not going to let that go. They're going to give you an office action and say, hey, this is a generic mark. It cannot be trademarked. The next type of mark is a descriptive mark. It describes the nature of the services and goods. Think of the Weather Channel. It's a channel for weather. It describes the nature of the services and goods. Think of U.S. News. It's news regarding the U.S. It describes the nature of the services and goods. You cannot trademark a descriptive mark at the beginning. So when you file a trademark application, and if the examiner pick it up and he finds out that he determines that it's a descriptive mark, you cannot get that trademark at the beginning. However, you may be able to trademark or protect it later on through what is called secondary meaning that the public at large has they know when they say the Weather Channel, they know what company that's belonging to. So if the public later, after a lot of advertising and promotion of your descriptive mark, if the public at large knows that, okay, that descriptive mark is associated with company X, then you can trademark that later on. You cannot trademark it at the beginning, but you can trademark it later on. Stick with me. I'm going somewhere with all this. The next bucket, so we talked about generic marks. We talked about descriptive marks. Your next bucket is suggestive marks. Those can actually be trademarked at the beginning. Think of Facebook. It kind of suggests what is going on, but it requires some imagination on us as the consumers. So Facebook, you're talking about you're talking about books, maybe it's an internet site that, people can kind of chat on. So that's Facebook. It's a suggestive mark. Think of Netflix. You think about the internet, Flix, movies. It's suggestive of the services, which is essentially a movie platform, movie streaming services, but it's more suggestive as opposed to descriptive and describes the nature of the services. And those suggestive marks are protectable at the beginning. Then the last two marks are going to give you the strongest protection. Arbitrary and fanciful. What is an arbitrary mark? An arbitrary, think Apple. It has a word, but you're using it in a way that's not associated with the definition of the word. So we all know apple, the fruit that you can you can bite on, but Apple is using it for electronics. So they're taking a word, they're using it in an arbitrary way. They're using the word apple, which has a definition, but they're using it in a random way. Again, that being electronics. That's going to give you one of the strongest forms of protection. And the other mark is fanciful. That's essentially a made-up word. Think of a lot of these drug companies, they just make up these drugs, and they're considered fanciful marks, which again give it the strongest protections. So I'm saying all that is because, number one, as you're doing your business, forming your business, try to have a mark that is at the very least suggestive and hopefully more fanciful and arbitrary. But what that paragraph 17 is saying, when they're talking about Tesla marks are distinctive, have no meaning outside of their use by Tesla, they're pretty much saying this is a fanciful mark. It has no other meaning. We essentially gave it its meaning. This is not a word that you can go look up in a dictionary. It's essentially a made-up term, which we all know is not necessarily true in that it was named after Nikola Tesla. But again, it doesn't have a definition. So they're right. It's not like Apple or BAM. It's one of these terms that you can go look up in a definition. They're saying, hey, we have a made-up term that we have used for our businesses, which is essentially they're saying that this is a fanciful mark and is afforded the strongest amount of protection with the USPTO. That's pretty much what that is saying. Hopefully you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Let me know in the chat if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. So let's go through it here. Paragraph 18, Tesla has attained one of the highest levels of brand recognition among consumers. As a result, Tesla's long-standing and widespread use and promotion of the Tesla marks, Tesla's customers around the globe have come to rely upon the Tesla mark to identify Tesla's commitment to sustainable energy solutions, so forth and so on. Let's go to 19. Tesla's customers associate Tesla's famous and well-known trademarks, including, among others, Tesla and the logo Tesla, exclusively with Tesla and its products. I would probably agree with that. Let me know if you guys don't agree with it, but I'll probably say Tesla is a well-known company across the globe. Again, it just said back in 2022, I think it was, or 2023, talking about this Tesla Model Y made history becoming a top-selling car globally in 160 plus countries. I would probably agree that that's a well-known mark if it has products that's selling like that. So let's go to the supercharging network. A significant concern for potential electric vehicle buyers is the fear of running out of battery power without a place to recharge, known as range anxiety. The supercharger network mitigates this concern by providing convenient and fast charging options along major travel routes and in urban areas. It has been a cornerstone of Tesla's strategy, making electric vehicle ownership convenient, supporting long distance travel, reinforcing technological leadership, generating revenue, and advancing sustainability goals. So pretty much what Tesla is saying, that one of our big goals was the fact that we have this massive charging network of these level 3, these superchargers, that such that when people buy electric vehicles, they don't have to worry about where am I charging the vehicle. Because as you know, and I don't have an electric vehicle, but from my understanding and from talking to other electric vehicle owners, the last thing you want to get down to is you have 10 or 20 miles before, or 10 or 20% charge before your electric vehicle dies, and you wondering where you're going to charge it. So Tesla has this massive supercharger network that electric vehicle owners can tap into and say, okay, we have a Tesla charger here or a Tesla charger there, therefore reducing their range anxiety. And again, this makes Tesla a lot of money. I mean, I think this is a brilliant idea, if you ask me, from Tesla. So let's continue with the 21 here. Increase in access to charging is a pillar of Tesla's mission. Since 2012, Tesla has built the best charging experience in the world, achieving a 99.95% uptime. So what does this mean? This pretty much means that when you get on that app, or your car is telling you, hey, you need a charge, it's a Tesla charger coming up, you want to pull up to that, hey, this is going to be crazy, but you want to pull up to that Tesla charge station, and it be there and it's available if your phone or your car is telling you it's available. This happens quite often where you have these other charge stations that when you pull up to, it's telling you, hey, go a mile, take exit 93, and you're going to see a charge station when you pull into this Costco or this Sam's Club parking lot. Then you get in there, you're like, hold on, the charge station is not there. Now you are even more concerned, have even more range anxiety. So when Tesla is talking about the uptime, they're pretty much saying, hey, when we tell you to pull into this parking lot or this Costco because this charge station is available, it's actually available. Or if we're telling you that the charge station is used and don't use this one, it's actually being used. The last thing you want to do as an electric vehicle owner is for your battery to be at 10% charge and is about to die. Your phone or your vehicle is telling you to go to this charge station at Costco and it's not there, or it's being used, or it's not there. So this 99% uptime, they're telling you, hey, when we tell you to go to this charge station because it's available, number one, it's going to be available, and number two, it's going to be there. So that's essentially what Tesla is saying here in their as it relates to this uptime. Let's go to 22. Tesla invested heavily in electric vehicle charging infrastructure. As of 2024 of this year, Tesla operates a network of 6,300 superchargers with 58,000 connectors. So obviously some of their superchargers have multiple connectors. These stations are primarily located in three regions: Asia Pacific, North America, and Europe. In 2024, Tesla plans to spend over $500 million expanding the supercharger network to create thousands of new chargers. And this is $500 million, seems like a lot of money, but that's about 5,000 charge stations. You got to think these. So we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. A level 2 charge station only costs, and again, I have a charge station company, so I know these things are only going to cost you a couple $1,000s. But a level 3 charge station is going to cost you around $100,000, and it can be multiple six figures, 200, 300,000 for the more expensive one. But for a level 3 supercharger, it's going to cost you about $100,000. So just do 500 million divided by $100,000 and see how many charge stations you have. So you would think that 500 million, that's a big number, which it is a big number. However, that's going to get you a couple thousand stations. You would think that this thing is going 500 million to get you about 100,000 stations, but it's only going to give you a few thousand supercharging stations just because they cost so much. So let's talk about the NACS. The North American charging standard has been adopted by all large automakers. I just showed you that document, with manufacturers and charge point operators transitioning in about 2025. So it seems like by next year, pretty much all these other automakers and their electric vehicles are going to be using this NACS port. Until recently, Tesla's supercharging network was exclusive to Tesla drivers. To encourage adoption, Tesla has now opened up its fast charging network to allow more electric vehicle drivers to charge at over 15,000 supercharging stations across North America. And again, this is big for Tesla because they're making them more money, generating more revenue because they're using other electric vehicles, the Ford Lightning, the Mach-E's, the BMW electric vehicle, all of them, they can use these Tesla superchargers. Again, in 2024, Ford became the first automaker to offer an NACS adapter to customers, allowing Ford vehicles to charge with the adapter on a majority of Tesla's V3 and V4 chargers. So let's talk about the wrongdoer, Jetco EV. Through Amazon.com and eBay.com, so it seems like they're charging on both Amazon and eBay, defendant has made and continues to make false or misleading statements concerning the specifications of Jetco EV charging adapter on product packaging and marketing materials. Specifically, Jetco EV charging adapters packaging and fold-out pamphlet falsely advertises that Jetco EV has a thermal protection in the form of a temporary kill switch and essentially IP55 protection level to protect against dirt, dust, oil, and water. So pretty much what they're saying is, and I'm not going to go through it in detail, but they're pretty much saying that, hey, Jetco EV, they're saying that their chargers are safe. Their adapters to go from CCS to NACS is safe, and it's not safe. If a Tesla owner or owner that's trying to charge their NACS or convert their CCS to an NACS uses this adapter, the owner is liable to get hurt. They're liable to damage our box. They're liable to damage the electric vehicle of the owner, and they are liable to damage the actual property that the charge station is on. So that's essentially what Tesla attorneys are saying in essentially paragraphs 28 and 29. Let's go to 30 here. In addition, defendant made additional false statements in a listing at a non-party Amazon e-commerce platform. So it seems like on Amazon, Tesla is saying that Jetco EV is essentially making some false statement. And this is what you see in bold, designed for compatible. So Tesla's big gripe is saying that, hey, Jetco EV is saying that these adapters that they're making are compatible with Tesla vehicles. And Tesla is saying, no, they're not. And if somebody takes that word for it, they're liable to get injured or damage their vehicle or damage the charge stations. So Tesla alleges that contrary to the advertising, the design of Jetco EV charging adapter is not compatible for use with the EVs and is a high risk of harm. And they're essentially talking about that they don't have what they're advertising to say. So hey, look if it's one thing, Amazon gonna come out with a review. So let's look at the customer reviews on Amazon. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Let's look at the reviews on Amazon. Customers on Amazon have criticized the Jetco EV charge adapter as defective and dangerous. For example, the Tesla and CCS1 standards have DC plus and DC minus reverse from each other. All CCS to Tesla adapters need to follow this. Grab any CCS1 to Tesla adapter and check it out for yourself. This adapter passes them directly through, which is not correct. The box has CE and FCC compliance marking. So they're essentially saying that this box of Jetco EV saying that it's in compliance with FCC and CE, but the actual adapter does not. I highly doubt that this product has passed any regulatory bodies because it's not white. So they're saying, look at this customer leaving a review on Amazon and saying that this adapter is not wired correctly. This is getting returned immediately for a refund. So this person in the US, and again, this was just a couple months ago, May 2nd, 2024. They're saying that this thing is not wired correctly, and they're looking for a refund. Again, somebody else, defective and dangerous, a 1-star. Lowest star rating you can give on Amazon. This charging adapter I received is both defective and dangerous. There's some strong words from a customer. And this was left April 24th, so about 3-4 months ago. It wouldn't work on any Tesla charger. I request a refund, so I would imagine that both of these customers are Tesla owners. I request a refund, and the vendor never supplied a shipping address for the return. So Amazon automatically refunded my money. Again, I almost blame the customers on this one. And let me tell you why. Like I said earlier, if you're going to buy something from Amazon, I would personally make sure that this person has, or this company that you're buying it from, has at least, especially if it's a company, Jetco EV, this is a company, they should probably have a website presence. They don't have a website presence. You don't have to look because I tried, especially if you're buying something for $200-$300 on Amazon, you probably want to check to see if they have some type of website. And to the extent that this thing doesn't work or is defective, you need to be able to get your money back. It seems like based on what this customer is saying, they were saved by Amazon because Amazon refunded their money because the vendor never supplied a shipping address for return. But the customer goes on to further say, at that point, I opened it up to see what was going on. There was a cold solder joint on the proximity pilot pin, or for those not familiar with soldering, the proximity pilot pin was connected, but the connection was broke. That doesn't seem like that's good. So it seems like they got some pretty bad reviews, and actually this listing has been taken down. I tried to find the listing. It's actually taken down, which is also not a good thing. If somebody's suing you, you're taking down a listing, it's almost like, okay, this person has done something bad. Plaintiff requested, or Tesla requested and paid for a third-party engineering team. You know Tesla going to do his due diligence. Elon Musk and the guy. So they paid a third-party engineering team to go through this actual Jetco EV charging adapter for analysis against relevant charging conducting standards. Tesla alleges that Jetco EV charging adapter design and construction poses a high safety risk. So again, if you have a Tesla vehicle and is looking to save some money and get this Jetco EV adapter, you probably want to think twice. For purposes of this analysis, high safety risk means a major injury, fatality, or fire is expected to occur during the lifetime of the device. So they're saying at some point, if you use this device, you may get injured. A fire may happen. Or in a worst case scenario, you may die. There's some serious allegations, I think. So again, to the extent that any Tesla owners are watching this, you probably want to go ahead and, or CCS owners are watching this and they're trying to charge, get this adapter to be able to charge at a Tesla charge station. You probably want to really think twice before you get this Jetco EV charging adapter. Because like I said, at least based on this paragraph, you may get injury, major injury, fire, may be started, or you may die. There's some pretty serious claims. Tesla alleges that Jetco EV charging adapter poses a high safety risk for at least the following reasons. And it seems like this mechanical latch, they on A through D, they pretty much, or A, all these, they pretty much harp on this mechanical latch. That seems to be not up to standard. I'm not going to read all this, but it seems like the mechanical latch is not a good thing. So let's go to the counts here. Now we're not going to read this, and this is actually pretty interesting because as you can see here, the first claim for release is federal false advertising. And as you go down here, to probably count I think it was count 2, they maybe talk about, actually, they don't even talk about trademark infringement on count 2. They talk about federal trademark dilution. Unlawful. So that's a California thing. So this is actually, based on my opinion, this is not even necessarily a trademark infringement case, even though Tesla put forth a trademark to say, hey, we got some trademarks and they're registered with the USPTO. And that was all fine and dandy. But this is actually more, at least in my opinion, more of a false advertising situation that, it kind of crossed over to maybe some trademark. And so, Tesla attorneys threw it in. So pretty much the false advertising is saying, hey, this Jetco EV, this company is saying that their charging adapter is doing something that it doesn't do. And we'll take it even a step further to say this thing is actually dangerous if people believe what they're advertising. So that's essentially, as you saw in the first claim for relief, the first count, the federal, what was it? Federal false advertising. This is pretty much a false advertising complaint. However, it does have some trademark remnants, if you will, because it actually is using a trademark name, that being Tesla. So that's why they kind of threw this trademark, this trademark situation in there, because it actually is using their Teslas in their advertising on Amazon. It's saying that it's you can use it for Tesla, and Tesla being a trademark term, they threw that whole trademark infringement claim, trademark dilution, because they're saying, hey, this is diluting our trademark because of the dangerousness of this product. So they're saying false advertising and federal trademark dilution, given the false advertising and the seriousness of somebody kind of believing what the advertising is saying, this can dilute our actual trademark, our company Tesla, because this is dangerous. So again, the fact that we have a trademark term, a registered trademark term, this is also federal trademark dilution. So this is interesting because we haven't kind of came upon this at this point. Typically, it's been trademark infringement, copyright infringement, trade secret infringement. But this is the first time where the main count is really a false advertising. And given the fact that in the advertising they're using a trademark term, is also trademark dilution, which again, we learned something new today is that if somebody is using your trademark term in their advertising, then you can probably go after them for not only false advertising, but also maybe trademark dilution. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. This was a little bit different. Like I said, I was glad to be back live doing these. Always enjoy these live as opposed to the pre-recorded. And I'll be kind of live for a while now. So this is going to be a good string of them that we are coming on. Let me know. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Let me know what you guys think, not only in the chat, in the comment section. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Of trying to give you guys these kind of current events so that we're bringing some entertainment factor, but also we're kind of educating you guys as it relates to these infringement cases, but also these, we talked about what's a generic mark, what's a descriptive mark, what's a suggestive mark, what's a fanciful mark, and what's an arbitrary mark. And when you're coming up with your business name, what buckets do you want to go in? You want to be in a fanciful, you want to be in an arbitrary category, or maybe even a suggestive category. You want to try to stay away from that generic category. You want to try to stay away from that descriptive mark, because those are not, they're not going to give you any protection. Suggestive is going to be giving you no protection, and your strongest protection is going to come from having a fanciful mark and having a arbitrary mark. So hopefully you guys got something out of that. Again, if trademark dilution is, if somebody is using your mark in a way that's going to dilute the value of it that you have built up based on having quality and esteem, goods and services, then you can go after them for trademark dilution. So we learned that today. And yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of this, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.